Okay, welcome to the next episode of Give a Shit podcast. Today, I've got a special guest, the King of Glass, Dan Nash. Let me welcome in Dan.
Thank you, mate. Well,
how are you?
Thanks for having me.
No problem.
That's good.
Come on in, mate. Settle yourself.
Thank you very much.
Okay. You all right?
Good. Yes, ready for it, mate. You ready for it? Not
Good,
sure
mate.
how many deep questions, your deep dive you're going to do for me, but we'll go for it.
I thought it'd be good to get you on, Dan, as a fellow business owner, entrepreneur, family business. So I thought it'd be good to have that conversation. I want to start off with like something a bit more on that personal side, you know, in your personal journey, and what that was like before Nash Glass, and where you started, you know, school and then growing up and understanding, just trying to get into the brain of what made you do what you do now.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, we've known each other for a long time. I think it's from school, isn't it?
Yeah,
Here? So,
absolutely.
yeah, similar. And I would say, actually, similar upbringings. I was only thinking about this driving in, actually, how our parents have set businesses up that we've gone on to take on and drive on. So it's starting from the beginning. Mum and Dad had set the business up in 82.
Yeah.
And there's never been a pressure to go into the business, but I've always been around that kind of entrepreneurial kind of spirit from Dad driving it on. Mum kind of running the home and helping out in the business, obviously running accounts elements of the business, doing a bit of property on the side, developing houses. So it's been a privileged upbringing, we can't deny that, but there is still been that drive there, which I know you share, and obviously we've had conversations outside, and it's been so. Obviously, growing up, kind of Worcestershire area, Bromsgrove, Redditch, kind of. Well, it's Hanbury, really, isn't it? Kind of time, dragged up in the rural countryside of Upper Bentley from the mean streets. No, not quite. But
Try and play it out, mate, if you want to. Try and play that out.
I'm going to say I can't. There's no rags to riches story. I can't say that. But there's still been that. What I wanted to instill is I think that both of us have still got that drive, and that's got to be credit to the parents that we've got that, because we could have. Yes, it's been a privileged upbringing, but we could have easily had that kind of silver spoon mentality. Yeah. I'm fortunate not to know. I know of them. I come across them at uni, and you just think that in us. We want to go out. We want to make something. Yes, we've had nice things, but then we want to make our own mark. So then, through school, and then went to university. Didn't know what I wanted to do at university. Did business studies at Nottingham Trent. Went to actually work in the business, kind of on the contract admin side, just like doing booking out invoices, etc. in the summer holiday of university. Realised I really enjoyed that, working for the family. Yeah, work for the family. It's motivation. Like you can.
So you say you went to uni. Did you do all that? Did you do A levels?
Yeah. So went to South Bromsgrove. Yeah. And our year's done very well, actually. All my kind of friends have done well out of that for what was a state school. I think we had some good leadership in that school at the time, and I know that people have come out of South. I mean, like got your Gymshark guys. Yeah, who've come out of South. We're not quite that successful, but we can. I saw him in the Cotswolds the other day.
Did you?
We're not too far away. We share the same shop in the Cotswolds. So that's about it. But no, came out of school, did A levels at South, and then went to Nottingham Trent to do business studies. Okay. A few of us went. There's a bit of a running joke that we created Bromsgrove in Nottingham, because there was like 9 of us that had went, and we all shared a home.
And you'd all went to South.
But we did I have made some friends that weren't from Bromsgrove.
Brilliant.
So that was okay.
Yeah, that's good.
And then after that year, really, I knew that was going to be the focus. So I must admit, I did go and enjoy myself a bit. I don't think I'd get a job if they saw my result of a Desmond, a nice 2-2 with a bit of scrape through. But I always say I developed my social self. I mean, and that is important. That is a bit of a jest, but the confidence university gives to speak, like I could speak to someone on the shop floor, to a managing director, and from that young age of into your kind of mid-20s as you're coming up, and it does develop that confidence and analytical thinking, as well as your like for kebabs and your beer tolerance and all of the getting very good at PlayStation, etc. But it's so I think I'd advise it for
the
my
3
children.
Bs.
I'd advise it for my children. I think there'd be but so that was and then after university, came out to work in the business. Now, this was a bit of a shock. So from and this is again Dad's culture and coaching is. So I came out of university, obviously getting up about midday to go in as I finished going on to the vans. So I went from uni onto the tools. I mean, granted, it only lasted about 3 months. So then a lady left in the office. And then,
like, give me that job, Dad.
Like,
give me that job.
Straight in, and then I never left. And then they couldn't get me out of there, really. So I'm fortunate that I know in our game I know the trade technically. I'm not very good with my hands as such, but obviously that technical knowledge and thinking around problems and stuff is where and the analytical thinking of how to solve problems is where we get. But my thing, I've always had someone at the end of the mobile that can do it for me.
So did you, when you were going through that period of university, you were obviously studying business, so you were thinking about going into business. Did you always have your heart set on working for Nash?
I didn't actually know. It was kind of whether it was subconscious. I didn't. It was kind of it was never I don't want it. So it was never closed the door there, but there was never a this is my path. And I suppose at that young age you're not quite sure. Well, I know some people are, and maybe the youth of today with a bit more education out there from internet and socials, etc., a little bit more set of what they want. Yeah. But no, I was kind of this. Let's go and do business. I think maybe that was a bit of advice from Mum and Dad. Yeah. Because that's just that wider sphere of then let's find.
And did you learn a lot there, Dan? Because like people talk about like there's certain people, Simon Squibb for example, he's not really into any of that educational part. He's like just fucking get on and do it. If you've got a passion and you love it, just get on and fucking do it.
And don't go into debt.
Correct. And just get on with it. So. What stopped you from, I suppose, doing that, and like really having a go
from early on at Nash? I think it's the unknown of not knowing what path I wanted to take at the time, and I'm glad I did it that way because you're right. I mean, I think youth of today, not to be condescending, but I think their choices looking down that debt would be to actually go into rather than taking on the debt if they know the trade they want to be in. Or trade or a job graduate type of role, then is to go and do an apprenticeship because then you're not. However, you don't get that lived experience because down that role, you'll probably still live at home. You might, you'll be going out. And you're the big time Charlie.
So would you say if you were giving advice now to the listeners, like, are you giving advice on go to university, get as much piss in you as you can, and have as many kebabs as you can?
I think so.
And experience that. And then go into the workplace. Would that be, for your own kids, I suppose, Dan, is that the dad advice you would give?
I think so. I've got 2 daughters, so I'll be there protecting them from the edge of the dance floor. And all the,
you would have.
The young men like I was back in the day.
The booze backy and the birds. The booze backy and the birds.
But no, I think it's that life experience. You're in business a lot. You're in business work a long time, and we know and. Well, we've talked also looking at the other end of that retirement. I don't think that retirement word exists anymore. So it's kind of you're in it for a long haul. So say delay it. Delay it's the wrong word. Go and get skilled. Go and have that life experience. One of my regrets is probably not going travelling with the guys. A lot of my friendship group, kind of the school friends, went travelling. Did Australia. Kind of some guys did South America, Thailand, etc. And I didn't do that. However, I put the fact that I became managing director nearly 10 years ago. That did fast forward me into that because because the trouble is.
And how old are you now, Dan?
42 now.
42. So 32. MD.
32. Yeah, young MDs. I think it was similar kind of track, and it's kind of and it does. It's people did comment. I think that was quite 10 years, maybe less now, but 10 years ago, it's a bit like he's a bit young to be MD, and we've had to earn our stripes and gain respect to the industry.
And what are you passionate about, Dan? What are you really passionate about? Like, for me, it's like that giving a shit, and that like really, think about how you show up and and be the best version of yourself every day. What is that for you?
I mean, at the moment it's paddle, but we're like everybody else. But no, that's just because I've joined the paddle cult. First rule of paddle, always talk about paddle. But I'm joking apart. It's for, as I say, for me, it's that the business is a driver, and I think we shared this. We both enjoy coming in the morning, gets you up in the morning. It's the why. I've had a privileged lifestyle. It brings my family. We can have nice things and have nice experiences with the children. Family life is big, really. That's an important factor because, as I say, and that all the cycle of like obviously my life is that if you've got a happy home life, it comes and then you feel better and you can show up as a better person. I do a lot of self-development.
Yeah. Was there ever a time, Dan, when you like lost touch with that and everything was all business related?
No, I've had a pretty balanced life. I've been fortunate the business was established and I could drive it on, but keeping that kind of like equilibrium, really.
Okay.
You could drive it on. I've not, as I say, I take my hat off to these guys who are starting businesses from the ground or the growth. Well, you've, I mean, I think you've dwarfed my growth coming into this lovely big HQ, mate. Congrats on that. But I know that's been a big driver of yours.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of. I've been happy to make step changes kind of gradually.
Yeah.
And obviously as things have gone on, we can and I've gone on that probably after, I think just before COVID maybe, I kind of went on that self-development journey myself, where it's kind of podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm part of a few coaching programs along the way. I've got different coaches in my life, which helps. But no, I think we're in a good place, really. I think I think the drive, to answer your question initially, is that just the self-improvement thing is to get better across all aspects.
And who influenced that, Dan?
I think Dad. Well, Mom and Dad, give them both credit,
Yeah.
and seeing that driver and the strong. We've both got strong like father figures, which are like big personalities.
Yeah.
And that growing up, you see that, and then obviously we live very social lives. So I think that's been good, and then later now it's kind of business coaches.
Yeah,
I've got a business coach at the moment with Action Coach. Andy Hemming's really helping me and the business, and that's great to have that kind of input.
And is that once a month he comes in?
A couple of times a month we go and see him, and then he'll sit with the management team, and he'll sit with our senior leadership team, and stuff like that. That's a real help.
Yeah.
And then looking on self improvements like your podcasts and stuff. And listening to, like say, anything from your business gurus to your lesser unknowns, or your
you can always learn something from somebody, right?
Yeah. Or you when I'm Chaz has done more hours before I've got out of bed, and before I've gone into bed he's still working, and then I'll see one of you. Well, basically I'll have a coffee in bed in the morning and see one of your motivation. It gets me ready for the day, really, mate. So thanks for that. I got a lot to. My growth and my business is down to you in the morning, mate. So I appreciate that.
Excellent. And so I suppose that if he was, your dad, your mum were influential in your career, what would you say, looking externally, were the main factors that they were influential? Because I think people look at Ronaldo, for example. He's a really good footballer. Yeah, great. But if you actually probably digged into his own personal life, he's probably a bit of a dick. Now, what for you made you really think like these two people? Because just because they're family, we know that family isn't always I don't always believe that, blood's thicker than water. I believe that I've got probably closer friends than I've got family. And that, to me, that doesn't make them influential. So what was it, the one thing or a couple of things that Mum and Dad really did that made that stand out, not just being Mum and Dad?
I think it's from not only emotional support, a happy household type of thing, but then also, as I say, the material things that we had growing up, and you see and you're like, well, I want this for my family.
Yeah.
This has become, and that is, and we both agree, like we support people doing well. So you do get the haters that kind of against that, but I'll chat to people when they're doing well. I'm like, great, and again, is there anything we can learn from people doing that type of thing? I think it's that support, really. I think it's the support they give, and there's been no pressure as such. I know there's kind of tiger parents. My kids are fortunate to go to private school, and within that culture, certain cultures put more pressure on their children. where I've said to my wife, I wouldn't do that. They can be what they want to be.
Yeah.
I just hope that obviously I get the money back and they look after me in my old age.
Only
now it's gone up now.
Absolutely, have that one on it for the tax. Go on.
And they've got more holidays than I think they're more out than they are in school actually. But apart from that, so hopefully I'll get that back in the long run. They'll look after me.
And what do you think personally has been your biggest failure, Dan? Setback?
Oh, that's a tricky one. That's a hard one because I don't in your business. I think there's the smaller decisions along the way we all regret. Maybe that you could have spoke better to a staff member.
Yeah.
You could have handled a business transaction differently.
Yeah.
So there's still those day-to-day regrets. But I don't look back at the negatives. I'm kind of always like a forward-looking person. Try and keep it positive. If it's in the past, it's in the past. And no, I think it's. I can't really think of a negative as such, really. As I say,
have you ever had an investment that's gone to shit? Or,
there's a few of them along the way. We don't want to bore the listeners with my woe is me stories. Yeah, there's a few things that haven't happened, but I think I know it's a bit cheesy, but there is that. There's not failure, there's learning, isn't there? I know that's that kind of thing, and I'm a big believer in that. Really, there's that. It's the. So yeah, there's a few of them along the way, but there's nothing that'll go. Oh, this is the life changing.
Was there ever a point when you made that MD? 10 years ago. Was there ever a point where you just felt like, fuck, I'm so out of my depth?
Oh yeah, definitely. And also my commercial director James, he's come on the journey with me. We're both young guys, like I say, but yeah, we're a bit erratic, and I say that to my team at 30. I'm like, we make better decisions as 40-year-olds. Now you're a bit calmer.
Yes,
you've seen,
definitely,
and as you get more mellow into the 40s, 50s, 60s, as our dads do. You can. Funnily enough, my dad's the calmest bloke now. He's like, you wouldn't see him at 30 years old, like I say, kicking arse in the industry.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we were definitely. We had the skill, we had the knowledge, and we had the support. But yeah, you've still got to go out and make it happen. And yeah, dealing with some of them. I'm fortunate that Dad's been around. Mum and Dad have been around and still within the business. In that they are slowing down into more like non-exec roles and advisory roles. But you've still got that sounding board. I take my hat off to anyone who's done it and built it up on their own with no one to speak to, because that's the biggest. Yeah. And I think, we still run decisions by my management team. Emails will get checked. My management team know if I'm calling them in to check this email, that email's not right. It's you need to tone that down a bit. Which I know. That's the norm. I need them to tell me. It's like, should we tone that down a bit? I'm like, that's a good idea.
I'm hammered the keys on that one.
In my 30s, it happens less now because I'm a bit more aware. But in my 30s, it was like...
Send.
Warrior. No, it would still get checked.
Would it still get checked?
It would still. I'm not saying there might be some clients listening to this. Well, he sent me that.
He sent me that, dickhead.
But yeah, no, we're not perfect. It's an ongoing journey for everybody, but we're doing all right.
That's really good. And what specific resources do you use now then, Dan? You talked about Action Coach potentially. They help you on a monthly basis, twice a month. Dan, what did you do before that?
Really, well, it started. That's what I mean. The self-improvement journey started, as I say, it was podcasts. To be honest, it was kind of. I do a bit on the property sphere as well, and it started within the property development kind of podcasts, and then actually business. I think the first one was business, and that might have been 10 years ago. Actually, that might have been kind of when I started becoming that. Obviously managing director and into that role, listening to business podcasts. And that's from, I'm trying to think, there was an Aussie guy, I can't think who it was now. But yeah, in marketing, big business, something marketing or something like that. But that's just talking about to different business owners and stuff. So there's that kind of...
and were they influential in your leadership style?
I think so.
So rather than being 30-year-old flying off the handle and hitting the roof over decisions where now you're 40, does that 10-year period, how has that leadership style changed?
I think it's more supportive. You do become more aware of others and yourself as well, how you conduct yourself, and it's kind of there is less ringing the blokes up, giving them a round of Fs.
Yeah.
There's they probably still
has to from time to time.
I've got the team to do that. Ring them up. But no, there is.
Do you still get involved in that, Dan?
Yeah, yes, more than I probably should.
So how big's the team?
Yeah, so I've got 30 staff in total.
Okay.
Yeah, including installation kind of guys and office admin, accounts, etc.
Okay.
And we've built up a leadership structure. So a lot of that education has helped me. I'm not saying there wasn't a hierarchy as such, but try and build that kind of senior leadership team that take a bit more responsibility. Yeah. We're still on a journey, and then obviously they can delegate to their teams. I know you seem to be smashing it down there.
Having a
go. The whiteboards, yeah. We've talked, and you've given me some tips.
That's
stuff.
good. Yeah.
No, but there's still. Yeah, I was only having this conversation at one of the kind of coaching events I go to, and he's like, "Well, I think I was going on a survey to meet a client and look at a couple of jobs." And he's like, "Well, why are you going?" Yeah. Oh, I couldn't. I was hard to defend it actually, and I'm like, "Well, this is a legacy business. We do a lot of like Next headquarters and the contractor. So it was a bit of a client meeting. There was looking at 4 or 5 jobs. Yes, to the outside world, the managing director perhaps shouldn't be doing those, but I'm still a believer. You've got to have like your finger on the pulse within the business. And I know a guy in a similar, like a competitor who I know well down south. He tried to step away, and the business suffered from it.
Yeah,
he's still going and still successful, but it's not as to be like leading from the front. That's how the success were made of my business, and I think of yours. Leading from the front. And you, no one works harder than Charles Hassall, mate. That's I know about that, and it's not the and passion. Yeah, and it's kind of like the.
No fucker out workshop.
No, I'm going to say we know that, mate. You're going to have to get up. You don't go to bed to outwork, Chaz. That's the. You're going to say you got to get up early to outwork. But it's it's that drive from the front, and you've got to be present. I think. I think there's a lot of that kind of. I'm within that kind of sphere of coaching where people are like, just put a managing director in and step back. And I'm like, so I'm not ruling it out for the future, but at the moment it's kind of hands to the pumps. And don't get me wrong, it is there's stuff that we move to. We talked about earlier, like kind of the dashboard element and the kind of business data. That's been a massive like step change for us, and that's moved the dial this year where we've got the data. And some of that could be my role changes. Yeah. I have been more selective on my site visits. I used to do a lot of the surveys, so that's changed in my role. But no, we're still in with ops. Like this morning, we said, like, anything you need, I like to be available to the team. And I think that's the way, and that's the way it's served the business well over the years, and I think it'll serve us going forward.
Want to get into like your values and your beliefs, like. Everybody knows what I'm like. I'm like the die on the sword. Like I live and breathe the value of what I believe in, and nobody ever is going to tell me otherwise. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. That's what I believe. That's what the value I want to drive through this business. And if you want to be part of that, then great. And if you don't, then fuck off.
Yeah.
Because that to me is like I'm quite happy to have an open conversation with somebody, but the beliefs that I have I have to embed them in through the company. And if you don't believe in that, well, get off the bus, innit? So when you moved into Nash, and how big was it then, Dan? You know, what we're talking.
Well, you kind of, I think the staff kind of might have been 20 staff.
Okay.
It was a couple of £1 million turnover kind of business back then. Yeah. I think from memory, really at that kind of level. So we've driven it on since type of thing. Yeah.
And so with that in mind, how did you manage to really like embed? What values have you got, Dan? And are the values that Dan Nash owns personally, that when he goes home and sits with his wife and his kids and he gives that information to them and says, this is this and this is that, and I wouldn't do that because of this. Those are values and beliefs that you have. Do you embed that into the company as well, or is the two totally different Dans?
No. I think I'd like to. I'd have to ask the wife. Actually.
Do you get her on the blower?
Yeah, I'm going to say that. Yeah. No, hopefully she'd say that I've stopped moaning a bit. Actually, I'm conscious when I get home. And it's like kind of like we do talk about it, but it's not the front and centre type of thing where you can't when you got to bath and bed the kids. The kids when you get in, you're kind of like straight to it.
Yeah.
But no, I think working with the coaching side, that's helped us. We've not put. I mean, while we're talking culture, that give a shit is amazing, and I bottled it. I think in my review, I was like, "Oh, we care."
That's it.
I was watching. I thought you were talking to me at one point. I was watching one of your short clips on LinkedIn, and he was like, "No, it's not about caring. We give a shit." And I'm like, "Yeah." I didn't push the boundary far enough, and I said fair play.
I even bought the domain www.wegivashit.org, so it links straight back to the website.
And, mate, I love it, and I do love that, and everything you talk about, and you've got, and it is, and I can see the passion that runs through.
Yeah,
I think a lot of that. I think there's the kind of like we care, the kind of loyalty, professionalism. Some of them are a bit cheesy. Yeah. I think that the we care and we get it sorted. Nash Glass do not leave a job unfinished. Yeah. However difficult it might have gone sour, it might have gone great, and there might be a little snag, but we get it. So we do not walk away. We get it sorted, and that's how the business has been going 43 years.
And how have you embedded that into the people? Because the people from 40 years ago are totally different to the people that are today.
Yeah.
Every generation that's come through that is so different. How do you implement that into the business? So team looking in now, they're all fucking listening.
Yeah.
So how have you made that happen?
I think it's the fact that, and again, I think that goes back down to leading from the front, and my team, my senior guys, James and Rich and Fee in accounts, the lady in accounts, kind of that we do care, and that it's not, they're hearing from us that, hang on, what's that email that's just come in? That's a snag, a complaint. Hang on, let's drop everything. What's happening there?
Deal with that.
Let's deal with that, because that is reputational.
That's that give a shit bit, isn't it?
And it really is. Well, I care.
I love it.
But no, I did say to the guys and girls back at base, I was like, I'm going to come back from this podcast, and I was like, you're going to have to sit me in a quiet room with some dolphin noise. You're going to come back from Chazzel pumped like a
go on.
Like getting a boxer ready for the warm up fight type of thing. But I think it is the caring bit, and that comes from your own business, and a lot of business owners that care, and it's the team always don't. Not everyone's on the bus. Like we've had it in the past. I think Dad's got a good phrase, and this is where that kind of mentorship advice from the years of like the stuff that our parents have seen or our dads have seen, and he basically says kind of same shit, different arse, and that just means that throughout the years, that whether it's a staff member, a client, a situation, he's seen it before. It gets sorted, and you can move on and be successful from it. But it's.
Did you ever have that time when you really took everything to heart?
You do, and we still do. I think we still do. I think that's probably one of the negatives. But again, is it caring or giving a shit too much?
But the worry side, think about the listener is really entrepreneurial, wanting to do their own thing, wanting to get into it. And I remember at the start when Dad first left and went to Italy on holiday for 2 weeks, and I was like, "Fuck!" And I'm firmly on my own here. Yeah, I was on my own. I had Andy. Did I have Andy in the warehouse? Yeah, and no, I don't think I even had Andy at that point. I was firmly on my fucking own. Yeah, and I remember thinking that phone's going to ring.
Well, Dad,
I'm going to have to deal with it.
We'll have to do another podcast with the dads in, actually.
I agree. I agree. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
They could score us. I mean, some of the stories that, I've run up Dad. There's a story of Dad, me ringing him too much, and he's thrown a phone across the field because of he's got angry and stuff. Because I'm basically ringing him too much when he was trying to enjoy his walking holiday.
Fuck off, Dad.
I've run up £200 bills in Turkey over a decade ago on the phone to the office at the time, trying to have a family holiday. Happens less now. We're fine. We're okay
me and Tommy refurbed the offices, and when he got back, he was like, "Where's all the desks on that?" We spent $5,000 on decking the offices. He was fucking livid. He loved it though.
Yeah, well, I was going to say you need that. You need that
change.
That's it. The growth is on the other side of fear, or whatever it is, something like that. One of the cheesy strap lines.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely.
But that's it.
Do you have like a bit of a northern star that you, I suppose, that you follow, a path that you're trying to follow, that you always want everybody to lead? I suppose you're leading by example. And is there anything that you embed in the team? Is there a certain slogan? Is there a certain strap line? Is there a certain, like, we've got 2 rules. Rule number 1, you give a shit. And rule number 2, you refer to rule number 1.
Yeah,
so we use it as an example. So somebody decides to do something in the office that somebody doesn't agree with. They go, hold on a minute, what's the fucking rules?
Yeah. I love that.
And they
love that.
So you start to embed that into the business culture so that you can pull people up when they're not obeying by the rules. So if somebody does something that's totally out of order, it's like, well, hold on, you fucking forgot rule number 1.
And do people do that?
Yeah.
That's great.
And do you see,
we're not there yet. I'd love that, maybe in a bit of a calmer way. I'm not
yeah.
But no, mate, I do admire.
Have you forgotten rule number 1?
yes.
That's so better.
But no, I love that. We aspire to be like that kind of but we're not there yet. And it's I think, our strap line is a bit cheap, but it's like customer focused family business, which is along the same lines. Mm-hmm. We are guilty. That's probably something I've been working on behind the scenes, creating values, but I've not put it out to the team yet. So that's one of my things. It's been on the to-do list, keeps moving keeps down, and how important that culture piece is. And I think we are lacking that. So
I think it's massive. I
think we're having that kind of. I was having a chat with a few guys and girls, and it's kind of I class it as Team Nash, but I don't think we're quite there yet. And a lot of that is that culture piece, around.
But so important. Yeah. I think, without that, we got to a certain size, and I thought, I can start to then just step back a little bit into the more CEO role, and leave the seniors to. And I started to see this disparity start to appear between, the seniors and the managers and the operator. And I was like, hold on a minute, what the fucking hell's going on here? And it was all down to a certain few bad eggs that then, you've got to get in there and get amongst the pigeons and actually go, hold on a minute, what's going on here? And as soon as I recognised that, you can then start to change the culture because bad eggs can rock an apple cart like no problem whatsoever, and I could see that happening where people were really on the edge then to make decisions. Everybody knows what I'm like. Everybody knows that I'm firm, factual, straight to the fucking point. But if somebody's made a mistake, right, I'm probably one of the most best for forgiving them people. I want to talk about it and I want to understand why they got it wrong, but I want to understand that, make sure they understand how not to keep getting it wrong. And if somebody continues to do it, then at that point I've had enough. But somebody needs. But if there's got a couple of toxic people in there that are causing a rift, my plan is just get rid of them, execute them as soon as you can, regardless how good they are.
We've had it throughout the years at Nash, as you do, in business and employing people's the hardest. What do they say? Business would be easy if you had no staff.
Yeah, Chris.
It's like,
that's the AI.
Yeah, true. Yeah, when you say what's my biggest, what do I use? What's my biggest tool? Is ChatGPT. He's going to replace me. I'm going to sit in a mountain resort and do what would Dan think? And put a chatbot on the wall.
What do you fight for, Dan? What do you really fight for?
Oh God, I don't know. This is where I show this lack of passion type of thing, really. I think it's the. I won't say an easy life. I think there's the kind of a calm life for everybody. Well, and me and everybody really want to be. And I think happiness and positivity. Yeah. Not to sit here like a yoga, like a coach, but I think that is as I say, I've not had that tough upbringing where I'm trying to prove anything to anybody. Mm-hmm. As I said, so it's generally that kind of that happy life that everybody around me enjoys as well. Is having fun and it's
I have 4 things that I pray in the morning, I pray in the evening, I get into that meditated state. It's health, wealth, peace and happiness. Those 4 things, they sit within my soul, that's where I go to when I just need that, hold on, just reflect a minute. Because without our health, we've got fuck all, have we? Without wealth, we can't do anything. And if I've got no fucking peace, I'm pulling my hair out. And I have to make sure that some part of me is happy.
And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty. I think that, one, I'm on a course called Property Entrepreneur, which is kind of Daniel Hill, great, and Adam who runs it now. Kind of Dan Hill's podcast is really good in kind of systemizing businesses as well. Okay. And kind of their mantra is wealth, health, and life by design. That's their 3 pillars actually. And then you set goals and you compare your goals. We just had a presentation kind of a day where you're reviewing your goals. The fitness one's on its arse. So I need to actually get out there and do some. I need to actually get out there and do. But I need to make it. I was chatting to Andy, Action Coach, about it, and he was like, "Well, have you made it important enough? What's your why?" And my why wasn't strong enough to drive me to do the exercise. So that's the bit I've got to work on. But it's a continuous journey. Yeah. Definitely along the way.
And that's important, isn't it? And I think, like, people think that looking in, they don't understand all of the mechanisms of running a business. And so people are very easy to judge, aren't they? And they're easy to go, oh, well, it was all right for you. Fucking hell. Yeah. All right for me. Yeah. What, because they see the nice watch or they see the nice car and they think, oh, it's all right for you. What do you mean it's all right for me? And do you find that right at the start that there's loads of people that want to like support you and get that, yeah. And then as you start to get older and you got more success, do you feel like the people that were there at the start aren't there at the?
No, I think because I think I'm fortunate, as I said, the friendship group we've got have been successful as well. So we're not kind of, and we've from different conversations and people you hang around with. Helps living in Harborne, I suppose.
Yeah,
friendship
absolutely.
Group from the club, from the leisure club. It's kind of it goes back to that supportive, like supporting people who've done well and kind of not begrudging the people who've done well, and then also supporting the guys that are on the way up and being there and not being any different. I think that's important.
And do you think that change? So like today, Dan, it's a time where we sit down, we chat, we've got the cameras around us and all of that shit, and you go like, is there a moment where Dan Nash decides to be somebody different from what Dan Nash is?
I suppose a little bit in here. I'm not used to my normal. I know my wife's an Instagram influencer, but this isn't she. I'm normally a bit like behind the camera or like kind of out of shot going, I don't want to be in it. I'm kind of, and I think that's important. This probably comes from Mum, where she's slightly introvert from Dad, where we've always been aware of kind of, well, like you say, that it comes to a point with mentioning the 30-year-old MD. There's a consideration in the car you drive, the car you go to sight in, that type of thing. What you can and you can't do, what you do and you don't say. Yeah. Into 40, I park it around the corner now. But it's still a consideration, I know. I've had a few raised eyebrows, and it's still a bit of conversation. I'm like, am I going to have to go in the van? I'm like, but and it is, because that's human nature.
I always said there was always two ways of looking at it. Dad was always the same. He's like, right, well, if you're going to the meeting, you're taking the Monday. Shut up, you're taking the Monday.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, well, why can't I go in the Beamer? No, because they think you've got too much fucking money. But I used to say to him, but Dad, there's also the other edge of it where you go, actually, Dad, I'm successful. If you want to turn up in a fucking nail in a 3-wheeler, how good am I?
How good's the? You're right.
How good am I?
Business. And there is. I think that will go on till the end of time.
I agree.
I think it's the person. I think it's the client you're seeing, the relationship you've got with that client. The kind of, I do check sometimes when they've got a better car than me. I can go in. That's all right. But
he's got the Lambo.
You're right.
Range Rover, fucking sad. Don't worry about that.
We won't worry about that. But it's the kind of, it's a consideration, but that's the stuff that they don't think about. I'd say no disrespect to staff, but it's kind of, as business owners, you've got to consider that of how you do come across and you are portrayed, and it's like that. And I think and Mum, back to that kind of diverted a bit, but kind of Mum's always kind of been that. We've never been that in your face. As I say, there's been success, and we've never actually kind of put it in your face. Instagram's a little bit, and social media's a little bit different because you do a little bit show off. I've just built a sauna in the garden.
Have you?
But that again. Well, say I built it. More of a project manager,
of course.
More project management. But again, that's the hard work, and that's what we wanted. That's a kind of something we're like going to get back to that health thing. It's good for me and the wife it's not phone time. You're actually having conversations rather than just like on our phones watching TV.
Yeah, that's nice.
So it's kind of, but no, it's back to that kind of say not showing off, but you're going to get haters. I'm sure people might look on Instagram, look at him and knob.
100%.
He used to be all right, and now he's
that's what they think.
He's not.
That's what they think.
Yeah, it's kind of. I'm a bit more middle ground, mate. You're a bit more the kind of the Marmite with you.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I'm on board. I'm on board. I love it.
Yeah,
It's
people either love it or hate it.
Yeah, and that's up to. You're right. That's up to them, which goes back to probably that buying decision of let's say that client, you've rocked up in a nice car, or you're doing well, or whatever you're doing, and you're right. You like say your choice is here. We're good at what we do. We can come and deliver you a product better than the competition, and this is what I do. And luckily, I think looking between the kind of 30-year-olds and the 40-year-olds, we're kind of more assured, and I can have that conversation. I tried to sell a guy on, I've got a new electric car, or a fairly new electric car, and he was like, oh, you're doing all right? And I was like, yeah, but this is saving money. So this electric car saves me so I can pass on the savings to you. I thought
fucking get out. And I got get out.
I did have a hybrid now. I've got an electric car. It's just saving the money. It's just I'm just
Where's the V8?
I'm just all about the client. It's just passing savings down to the client.
Love it. Being self-aware. So we touched on it earlier about like the self-awareness piece. I know was something that I really struggled with. The up and down. So how do you control that now, Dan? Like when something comes in, you get a shitty email about a job that you fucked up or you've made a mistake or whatever it is. How are your actions now different to what they were 10 years ago?
I think, like I said, I think the 30-year-old gets angry. We're still going to get angry, but it's a bit more like what, like going shouting in the office. Yeah. Now it's a bit of we gather the team together, and that's the kind of where we're fortunate to have the team. I know not everybody in business has got that, whether in the early days or whether they do work for themselves. But we gather the team together, and then we go. We don't. I know I listened to a podcast with Toto Wolff, and he said kind of we don't blame it. We blame the problem. And it's kind of non-blame culture type thing, and it's like, right, how are we going to get round this, guys? This is coming. Let's gather round. Do it. Is it senior leadership? Is it right stuff, or is it just we need to get the kind of manager and the admin together and go, right, how does this get resolved for the client? The goal is to resolve. Let's say it's an installation issue. It's a contracting issue. How do we get this sorted? And with the least amount of like hassle for everybody, basically, and the most efficient route. That's kind of, and I think it's that there's a little bit more thought, composure, seeing it. Back to that conversation with obviously different arses. You've seen it come round. There's always something in the week, and you're like, been doing this 20 years now, and I've never seen that. And I'm like, oh wow! I thought like, how many more? I know
I've seen it all.
We talked about this when we went out for dinner, but it's like they're kind of like. They did what? I'm like, these blokes have been doing it 20 years, 15-year experience fitter. You did what? I'm like, oh my days.
What's one thing you would have changed? What did you get wrong, Dan?
I don't know. I guess
was there a moment when you blew up at something that you shouldn't have done, and you thought, oh, for fuck's sake?
I mean, I can't recount when. Yes, there's probably been comments made to members of staff. Clients aren't too bad. I've always kind of been aware of you've got to like we rant in the office, and we tell fitters to go out and said if you're going to do your swearing or anything, go out and swear in the van, walk back in, and you'll be like, oh yes, no problem, we can sort that for you. There's the kind
Have you had a row with a client?
I'm not, to be honest. No,
You're such a nice guy, aren't you?
I'm going to say it's a lovely bloke. It's about the staff. The staff are probably listening to this going.
I'm pretty sure he has.
Yeah, I'm going to say, you know, like being the same person and not having an alter ego. Just kind of, no, we try and because we are fortunate that we're a successful business. We've got legacy clients.
Yeah,
we've not had. We can make a decision, and we will make a decision that it's not about the profit. It's about getting the project right.
Yeah.
So we're not one that's going to like stand our ground And we know in contracting, the client's always right because you need to get them to pay. You need to get them to pay the bill.
Yeah, correct.
Whether you're right or wrong, they're right.
Yeah.
Because if they don't pay your bill, you ain't going to get paid for the job. Yeah. So you have to take more. You have to take your medicine. Mm-hmm. It might take a hit on the bottom line. It might wipe out the bottom line, but you get it right and you move on.
Have you got better with that, Dan, as you've grown?
I think so. That definitely.
Because where's revenue now, Dan?
With 4.5 million.
Yeah. So when you think of that, that's big growth in that amount of time. Yeah. And has that got easier to handle though, Dan? Like as you get more customers and you're not all eggs in one basket.
I think it's easy as a bit of a stretch. But I know what you mean. It's got with the team. You're right. The client base, the size of the business, the kind of access to labour. Yeah. Yes, in those terms. Yeah. I think we spoke earlier. Mm-hmm. The business landscape's very turbulent at the moment, so it's far from easy. It's up and down. Mm-hmm. But you're right. We've got that relationship now with kind of a lot of interior fit out clients who kind of that we know and we know
You've
how
built relationships
we built relationships with and we can.
And how important's that, Dan?
That's massive in the good times, and it's yes, in the good times, obviously getting those regular orders, but also when something goes wrong, either for them or for us, you can pick up that phone, whether it's me or my team, ring the PM, the contracts manager, and go, this has happened, or like I need another. Normally, it's like any chance we can finish it off on Monday, and they go, well, generally at the moment it's like, no, I need it done. You're like, okay, no problem. We're coming in tomorrow then. Or it's kind of like, yeah, I've got till Wednesday, just get it done and get it. And we're like, great. So then everyone wins. They get the job done. We can move on. But that relationship is massive. That's everything.
So when you first came into the business, let's talk about some tech. Where are you now? So I'm guessing you were very similar to me, paper, pens, files everywhere, and that sort of stuff, and the odd computer in the building.
It was a DOS matrix printer type of thing. There's been, I mean, we was a bit of a running joke in the kind of the glass industry, but we've got rid of the fax.
Okay, so that went
5 years ago.
Oh, brilliant!
And we've just the biggest thing last year was we've stopped sending paper invoices out. We've actually emailed them.
Oh, well done.
I mean, this is how much and we've just fitted a Zoom. 5 years after everybody else was doing it after COVID, we've actually installed a Zoom and like in our meeting room, so we can actually, rather than my laptop or my phone, we're discussing. I don't know. It could be a £50,000 project on my phone, with about 3 blokes and ladies around it. So we've actually invested. But I think the tech, it's kind of.
And how has that helped you?
It's more the kind of, I mean, the biggest tech thing, which is the ChatGPT thing. We joke, but for bouncing ideas, creating like kind of your SOPs, your kind of like just makes and for getting another point of view as well. Yeah. Which helps and kind of staff. We're going through staff one-to-ones at the moment, and it just quickly blasted me out a kind of staff one-to-one form that we could amend. And it's like, actually, we haven't thought about that question.
It's a good one.
Chuck that one in. Yeah. So things like that. It's kind of I know guys and girls that have kind of like live on it and talk to it, and the kind of there's a bit of a quite funny. I put in my bio that I want to be kind of. Positive vibes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we were like, you ask it a question, and this lady comes in. I want you to be team focused with a sprinkling of positive vibes. And I'm like, it's all right in the first one, and then the missus is like, do you want me to be team focused with positive vibes? And I'm like, yes, I do actually.
Yes, I do.
This is the home life now. This is the.
What's more important to you, loyalty or honesty?
Oh, God, definitely both.
Yeah.
That's a hard to pick, really. The honesty thing has got to just tip loyalty. Loyalty is very high up in my values because I am loyal to people and I expect the same in return. But there's nothing without honesty, really, without that kind of. Like you said, if things go wrong, we put our hands up. Yeah. No one, we will sort it, and we will. That's what we are good at, is rallying as a team. And that's where we don't get everything right as a team, as in the kind of culture piece. But we rally round, and there's no one left. Like I know some of the bigger organisations, more the kind of blue chips or the kind of the big guys. Like finally, I've only worked at Nash, but speaking to my team, they're like, oh yeah, you just left to it. This is what you need to do, and if you F up, then it's on you. But no, we are like, right, what do you need from us? From a junior to a senior, we'll rally round and that's the team piece.
And again, that really blends back into the leadership, though. That people will behave. If I went downstairs and just started shouting fuck, everybody else, they behave the same. It's the same as like when somebody comes in dragging their knuckles. Like we'll tell them to go home.
Yeah.
Like just don't bother.
Yeah. Because don't bring that negativity.
It's bad for morale.
Yeah.
You know, and you see it in sport, don't you? You know, if there's one player that is constantly whinging and that, it brings the team down. Yeah. And it's only the same at work.
We have got the analogy, me and my commercial director, the Martin O'Neill, mate. Well, we've got the Martin O'Neill is the arm round you. That's the supportive character. Okay. That's the we're gonna give him the Martin O'Neill.
Who does that bit?
In fairness, we take it in turns.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, you get the arm round, you get the encourage. We got the full tracksuit on, full tracksuit football boots.
Lucas
whistle around the thing, and then you've obviously got whether it be the Roy Keane or the kind of like you got to give him the rocket.
Brilliant.
You got to give him someone who's the kind of that kind of character.
And what are the key things that you look at Nash to encourage people to step outside of the box, to start to really step it up, I suppose, rather than just doing the daily tasks, or is that what you want, Dan? You want them to just do the daily tasks?
Yeah, I think we're like any small business. I think we could improve in development, and I think if we're asking staff at the moment, they're like, "Where's my development and progression?" Yeah. That'll be an ongoing battle in small businesses because always. There is a ceiling where there's only so far, and a wage structure that will kind of work, and obviously with government pressures and cost of business, that's even becoming even harder.
Yeah.
We try and develop. I think it's trying to listen to people really, and kind of because it's not just about financial, but is there somewhere that you want to move to? Is there a role you want to take on? Is there something that's a bit more fulfilling within that you come to work and it's a bit less monotonous or something? I've just had one of the estimators, he's looking to kind of move into more of a contracting role, and that's kind of that he's been with us 8 years, so that's kind of that's good to hear. That's great. And I said that to him yesterday. Like we want younger guys and girls that want it. Yeah. Because obviously that's what you want as a business into progression. Yeah. It's a challenge. It is.
So what is the plan for Nash? You know, what is that growth plan? You know, is. Really, where do you want to get it to?
Yeah, I'm still working that out, actually. I'm still penning that at the moment. I mean, the goal is the £5 million turnover figure. That's the next milestone as such. Okay. As I said, but our mantra's always been sustainable growth, and that's served us well over the 43 years from Dad's. So you're not trying to move the dial too much. You're just making regular incremental improvements to step change, and that's what served us well, because in the good times and the bad times, there's not too much pieces to move to correct and stuff. I think that would be the kind of.
Do you think there'll be some changes at 5 million?
No, I think we can do it with the current team, and I'm probably guilty of being. And Andy Hemming says this. He's like, I'm probably a bit safe in my goals. I mean, we've had conversations and kind of.
Sounds safe.
Yeah.
Sounds
well,
really.
I think at one point we had a management team meeting, and we went, oh, so what growth are you going to get? And they were like, so you're going to go down in growth. And we're like, so what turnover figure? So that's actually less. Okay. So we are a bit safe, but we're working on it, and I think that comes in the confidence of getting out there, talking within the group, we're all on this self-improvement journey and this kind of management journey of like we're learning as well. So and you're fortunate to be, like, as I say, creating that culture where you can speak out and say that and call it. I mean, even over dinner, you were like, I was like, I'm a bit safe on that. I'm a bit that. I
believe that the businesses go through that 5 million mark. I think you're underestimating how fucking hard that is. Yeah. Like, once you get to that stage, I think there's so much more. And I think then 5, 10, 15, 20 and beyond, every 5 million you're effectively reinventing yourself.
Yeah, you've said
And
said
I
that,
honestly believe that. I think we experienced where we fucking didn't, and then that it suffers accordingly.
I'm happy at that kind of range.
Would 5 million rest of your life happy there?
I think yes, with incremental growth, and I think look, till I'm 50, we said at 50 you then start making different decisions, type of thing, and that's kind of. But I think as I said, I do a bit of I'm a part-time property developer. I've got a few investments on the side. Yeah. But I like playing paddle. And I mentioned paddle. But that's kind of and it is part of me. I know your driver is work and business, isn't it? You love that. And it's kind of and for me it's probably I leave the office. I get in for 8 and I leave at 5:30, and it's kind of yes, my phone's on and it's never off. Yeah. But it's unfortunate, and that's important to me.
And do you embed that in the staff as well?
It's something. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're there. It's something I'd probably change. The kind of like they're at the desks at 5 and at 8 and at 5. 5:05. There's
mass exodus.
Your mass exodus. Like you have to be careful. You get killed in the stampede. But they've put the graft in. And don't get me wrong, the senior leadership team stay over. And if it really is, I mean, I was only showing one of the lads before I left where you'd work late. I think you worked at 7, and you said all the team was there. Yeah. I might put that on the big screen actually and go. You're not doing too bad if I make you stay till 5:15, or we're finishing off a quote just to get it done for them in the morning. Yeah. But it's. They're a good. We've got a good bunch. We've got a good team. No detriment. I know that's.
How do you manage the interaction with the lads on the road? Because do you work outside of the Midlands, Dan? Are you working nationally?
We go nationally, just not into Scotland. That's kind of we have just done a job in Scotland, but don't tell anyone. But it's more the logistics, because obviously you got a day to get up there,
and how do you build the relationships? Because I think it's hard, because you have a core group internally that turn up every day at 8:00 and they work with each other until 5, and there'll always be disagreements, and I think healthy disagreements are really important. I think not enough is put in on that, where people just think, he's being a dick. No, he's not being a dick. He's just got a different of opinion. Yeah. And people being able to understand that it's a different of opinion, and that's allowed. The lads on the road are a disconnect from that. So we communicate with them via phone, or we communicate with them via tablets or whatever it is. And it's hard to really make them feel part of something great. And Richard Harpin at HomeServe, he when he built that business and sold it for £4 billion recently, good for him. But I still think if you'd have asked the engineers, there's still a disconnect. Yeah. And I'd love to know what is your one thing that you do to make them lads feel part of it.
Well, that's something like any business within contracting. It's that we would not fall down, but it's something that will need improvement, still needs improvement, because you're right. I think they're out on the road. We try and so Rich is my operations manager, and then there's the contract admin ladies who are talking to them. Let's say if you ask any fitters, I'm sure they'll be like, we're not listened to and stuff. We try, and there are WhatsApp groups. I don't always agree with it, because there's a few times that questions are asked on WhatsApp where it'd been better to pick up the phone and then just WhatsApp me again. Okay. There's probably an issue there of the modern generation of staff that they're scared to pick up. They're not scared. They hide behind the WhatsApp and email.
The keyboard warrior.
Pick up the phone. And
if somebody sends me some shitty text, first thing I do, ring them.
Ring them. Yeah.
You won't get me in that.
Yeah. No,
you won't get me in a spat on a fucking text message. No, thank you.
Pick up the phone. Yeah. It could be.
They won't answer. That's the fucking best of it. They don't even answer.
And that's the thing, and there's a lot in that, because there could be the case of, obviously, that misconstrued text, email, or even they might just be doing something else. It could just be a quick, I don't know, how'd you get on about? And then there's so much more information you find out on the phone. We find that with asking clients if projects are ready. You ring the site manager, they're like, you send the site manager an email. Yes, it's all ready. You ring the site bloke. What? No, there's not an opening for you to put your glass in. Well, hang on, someone said it was ready. He ain't been site for 2 weeks. Oh, great. So there's that. It's the ringing people is massive. That's
actually talking to people.
Talk to people. We don't always do it. Like any company, we're trying to get there and trying to instill that in people.
We embedded like bringing them in once a month, and we meet at 6:30 here, and we'll either have some bacon butties or
that's good. That's good for the culture.
Yeah, and
I think I was going to say trying to get them back on an afternoon.
Yeah,
is that it doesn't always succeed. There is sometimes
they all want to go home, don't they?
Well, exactly.
Let's get it
This
right.
feels like a bit of a rush. I think they love the daytime TV.
That's why we do the 6:30 because
in the morning.
Yeah,
that's a good show.
Just makes sense
before they go out. That's
before they kick off. We've implemented that every month.
That worked.
It has. I think like we've had some really, really good feedback. Some shit as well. That we've just gone no, but some of the innovation stuff that they've come back with and gone, I think if we did this or we had something where we could, clock our stock out the van and things that we've gone, you know what? Yeah. It's a really good fucking point, that.
Yeah, we do fitters one-to-ones. We probably don't do them enough. It's probably once a year, where it should be more than that. It's quite funny when you do see. I mean, not to be the negative, but some of the you could pick a fitters list where we list some of their improvements from 2020 and 2025, and they're the same. And you're like, wow.
I get it.
But I've got a good. I've got a good bunch of lads.
Yeah, same here. Well. And I think that's. But it is hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not anybody.
Because they are out of the.
Anybody that has employees that are sat externally to the core group internally, it's hard to build that bridge. And I'd love for one of the gurus to fucking listen to what we're fucking saying right now and actually give us some shit on that. Because that's the stuff that we're after. Because we came up with this grand plan, tried to bring them into it, and they get a percentage on top of their invoice if certain things go in a certain way. But without wallowing on about how that works. But that is the bit of bringing them in and going, hold on, look, this is what we're doing. We're doing this as a team. This is a team effort. It can't be individual. I hate the individual route. I do. I hate that. Somebody's running off and going, well, hold on, I'll do a good job every day.
We've had that. We've had that in the. I think that's there is that we're fortunate within not to tart all the tradies with that brush, but there is that little bit with that looking out for themselves type of thing. But that's the that's the culture within. Not only our trades, that's probably all a construction, isn't it? Yeah. And that's the kind of necessarily like best bloke who ever fit a piece of glass. That's my dad, actually. Where'd you wear that stem from?
Okay, so what's one thing that really pisses you off about the current industry that you work in?
I think people, back to that thing of it, people saying things are ready and they're not. And I know it might seem small thing, but like not taking accountability for their projects, so then that it affects our business, and we're having to wipe their asses basically, and it's well, no, we're doing our checks, we've got our systems and processes. We're let's say we're making a call 24 hours before to a project manager, site manager, saying, "Are you ready? We're coming tomorrow. Are you ready?" Yeah. Yes, we are. And it's been, I know one of my competitors posted it on LinkedIn, and it was a big hole in the wall going like, this is the new, we are more of a finishing trade, as you guys are. Nice, nice plastered opening or a finished opening. Yeah. Like, it's ready, but there's no ceiling. It's like, so it's not ready then, is it? Oh, no, but I think that in defence, I think that stems from client pressure. Okay. The scheduling is gone to shit because of client pressure. They've had to say yes to a deadline that was unachievable with the natural scheduling of work. So you've got to get it turned around. So our clients, the fit out contractors, are scheduling, and you've just got to get it in.
So do you do the same as us, where you get the program and it's like we might as well just
bloody carpet fitters are in the way.
Fucking blame the Sparkies. Fuck that. This is always on the Sparkies.
But that's the kind of thing. But it doesn't have to make a difference when someone has checked and you can run smoothly, because there's enough that's going to go issues that might crop up in the world of contract. The contracting gods might get you without the check you've already done letting you down at that stage. So,
what's one piece of advice that you'd give to your younger self, knowing what you know now?
I think you never stop learning. I think they never stop learning. Seek out that education, self-improvement, because the life experience of talking to people who've been through it giving you advice affects how you respond in that situation. You talked how a 30-year-old Dan and a 40-year-old Dan is different because I've got the knowledge of been through it, and okay, that, as I say, that'll happen, and okay, we'd like, oh, you stay quite relaxed. I'm like, yeah, because we went through it, or I know someone who's been through it, or talking. So I think it's that kind of get out there, get educated. So much online now, so like free advice on for the younger listeners and stuff like that. So like I don't know, is it Insta, is it YouTube, is it kind of podcasts are massive. The podcasts are massive because you listen to wherever you are and stuff like that. Get out there and get across all aspects: business, personal, self-development.
Finish the sentence, Dan. The world needs more of.
Well, okay. I think I've said it all right, and I think that this is the bit the wife might want. Positive vibes.
Yes, hippie. So. Can we have a little hippie running across the screen here, please?
I think that is cheesy, but even more positive. I like to be a positive person, not all the time.
Yeah, it's nice.
But how much more would it be if someone thinks of the positive outlook? Especially at the moment. Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
But it's kind of like, well, actually, yes, it's all gone, but what are we going to do? Let's look at resolution rather than this is gone. But, yeah, it's done. We need to move. What we're going to do to put it right? What's going to happen? Because that then everyone can move on. So positive, sprinkle of positive vibes, as my ChatGPT would say.
Love that. Love that. And what would you say is the biggest fear of change?
Within the business type of thing, I think there is. I mean,
what's your biggest fear? I suppose of what's going to change, what's to come.
I think like I said, a turbulent market is tricky because if the sales are coming in, I know how to deal with it. When those sales drop off, it's hard. I'm fortunate to be with obviously recessions that Dad was still around, and we've obviously you have to take the appropriate actions, but it's not been.
It's shit though, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it's
COVID
really
was hard.
shit. Isn't it?
COVID was hard. I think we had conversations that was bloody hard. We weren't too bad, touch wood, because the site stayed open and we could get back on site. So it kind of it had an impact, but not as drastic as some people. I think it's just the kind of uncertainty, just a little bit of, like, as I say, uncertainty leading to kind of, dare I say the recession word, but it's kind of like that market slowing and them sales, because we built businesses to a certain size to operate in certain sales, and yes, we can cope with some drop off, but if that drops off a cliff, then there's more difficult decisions we don't want to make. Whether it's staffing, whether it's kind of so it's shrinking, and then does that feel like a failure and out of your hands, really? I know, but we're taking the right things. Got the dashboards, we're looking at the numbers, so to try and prevent and to get those early warning signals.
So the people listening, some of them are young, some of them are older, entrepreneurial, wanting to have a go, might be stuck in a current role, thinking about, like, what does that mean for me? And if you had to give them one bit of advice, what would that lasting bit of advice be?
I think, and again, cheesy, they're going to call me like the cheese baller, but I think that network, that cheesy line of your network is your net worth.
Yeah,
which comes
so true.
It's massive because that could be from ringing someone up, like if you, within business, if you need something or you need somebody,
love it.
Or personally, again, if you're going somewhere, you need something, you kind of advice from people. I don't know if you've got like older friends or that've been through it.
Yeah,
and I think that network, that is, I am very good at networking, and that's people have said, and I like to meet people, chat to them, see what they're doing.
Yeah,
be quiet, and I think that serves well. Someone always said, "Jesus, Dan's got a number for everybody." Yeah, it's kind of like
little black book.
Do you need a carpet fitter? Someone in a carpet business. You need lighting. I know somebody. You give him a bell, and that makes the world go round. And I did a lot of property networking. So over the last 3 years, and that's kind of on my property development business. That's my dirty little secret.
Yeah,
don't talk about it too much. But yeah, so I do a lot of networking on that side, and that I go to a regular event, and with that event, I've met a lot of people, and then leverage them. Whether it's a SaaS pension, it's a mortgage broker, it's something like
You've learned loads there, I'm guessing.
That
definitely.
Side. Yeah, definitely, and you learn from people's experience, good and bad. So I think get out there. Do not underestimate networking. People. Maybe the younger people, as I did, as I said. So I'm networking in my mid-30s. But I take my hat off to the guys and girls that are coming at 18 to networking, and they're getting out there and
meeting people
at that age. So then you can build that relationship over time, and that is massive. That network, building that across, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And even at that younger age, that again to the younger listeners, that would be my thing. Is like you say, get out there, network, and put yourself out there.
Well, it's been truly inspiring, Dan.
You've
obviously been on
survived. I was a bit worried coming in, mate.
No,
how strong we're gonna. I probably need to take my stronger values, the stronger hammer to the values. Actually, I think give it the Charles Hassall.
It's been an inspiring chat, Dan, and
obviously,
it's been. I've known you a long time, and I appreciate you coming in and spending the time with us. And
well done to you, mate, on this lovely HQ, mate. I know it's been a driver. It's correct. Driving in. Banging, absolutely banging.
Yeah. And, that's the aim, in it. We want to build something great, and that is our mission. To build a great business. And at the moment, I'd say we're a very good business, but we're aiming for greatness.
That's good.
And you've got to keep going at it, and keep going and keep going. And this is just part of that journey.
Yeah.
But either way, I appreciate you coming in. And
no, welcome. Enjoyed it.
And I hope the listeners have enjoyed our conversation. So thank you, Dan.
Great. Thank you, mate.